Hello class, in this example I'm going to show you how to quickly make a histogram. There's really like 3 different ways to make a histogram in Excel. You can use the tool pack, you can use phstat, or you can do it manually. The bottom line is 2 things. A histogram is just a bar chart with just fatter bars. But it's also a representation of continuous data that's been chunked into categories, or what are called bins. Excel refers to these bins as the upper class limit that you'll read about in your textbook. But the key is, it doesn't matter how you make it, Excel needs those bins, and getting the bins is the tricky part. But the good news is there's a very easy way to get these bins pretty quickly, and that's through a pivot table. So we're going to make a histogram for all 3 of our variables here using a single pivot table. So we're going to go to the insert menu, go to our pivot table option here. Excel knew to select all the data. It's going to go in a new worksheet. We're going to click OK. So here we have our empty pivot table, and let's start with alcohol %. I'm just going to check the box here. Excel tends to default to a mathematical value. In this case, it's a sum. We want the count, so just left click on that, left click on value field settings. You'll get this box, change it to count, click OK. Now we need to drag this alcohol variable down to the row labels, and then what you'll see here is for every single value that's in the data file for this particular variable, it gives a count or frequency for that value. So now we need to create our bins or ranges, and this is where the pivot table makes this super easy. So we're just going to click on our table, and under our pivot table tools we're going to click group field, and then this little grouping box comes up, and it automatically defines our lower class limit and our upper class limit here with the starting at and ending at, and then it gives you a value that it automatically kind of calculates by itself on how to split it. In this particular example, splitting it by 1 works out in our favor. This gives us 9 bins. And how do I know it's 9? I just highlight this and look down at the bottom right corner, and here it says 9. And so this is what's called a frequency distribution table. This is what a histogram is based off of. And to make our histogram, we're actually just going to make a bar chart. So we're going to go to Insert, click on Column, click on 2D Column. There's our bar chart. And like I said, a histogram is really a bar chart with fat bars and no gap between the bars. So we need to make these bars fat. So by doing so, we're going to just click on any one of the bars, then right-click, Format the Data Series, and this gap width, we're going to slide this to 0%, click Close. There's our histogram for alcohol. So you can change the title here to alcohol %. You can format some of the layout here, like get rid of the legend, and there's your histogram. Now you can use this pivot table to create the other 2 very easily. You don't have to redo this 2 more times. So, and what I suggest is a little shortcut is if you right click on this graph and do a copy, and then click over here and click paste, and you have 3 different options here. Paste it as a picture, and that locks in our graph so that we can mess and manipulate with the pivot table here, and it's not going to affect this graph. It's only going to change this graph. So here we can just uncheck the box for alcohol, check the box for calories. Remember, change this to count. Click OK. We need to grab this to our row labels. You can change your title here so you know what you're doing. And now we need our bins or our ranges. So if you remember, this is under these options, you group the field. Here's our lower and upper class limits, and it wants to split it by 10. And if you do this, this is okay, but in my opinion, this is too many bins. Here there's 20. I'd like to see less than that. And there's no rule here as far as number of bins, but less is more, I think. So anywhere in the 5 to 10 range is an acceptable number of bin ranges. So if we go back to group field and let's change to double this and make it 20, that cut our number of bins down to 12. And so there's less information here for it to have to write out on this axis. And that's it. So you can just repeat that process, copy it, paste it as a picture, and then you're ready to do the third one. And that's it.